Hey everybody, this is Tim Shorts of Gothridge Manor, and I am going to talk about my Duet games that I'm running these days. I'm running 2 right now and 1 in the future. I have one with Ken, more of a private game. We won't be recording it or anything like that. It's just 2 friends getting together and doing a little bit of gaming. My one with Paul. Paul's an exhibitionist. He likes to be shown to the world, so you have recorded those and they will go out. We did our first one this morning. And then the third one will be with Joe the lawyer. That one will probably be televised too, because if anybody's an exhibitionist, it's Joe. So once we get that, we'll be sharing them on my channel. What I wanted to do with this series, I want to keep these videos as succinct as I possibly can, is kind of like a GM diary about these Duet games. Why am I running games to kind of, one, they're a little bit more manageable for me these days. Instead of trying to herd 3 or 4 cats, I only have 1 cat to herd, so it's easier to do some scheduling. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're keeping the sessions down to 2 hours. Because it's a duet game, a one-on-one game, the intensity of the session, it will be a lot higher. And there doesn't have to be a lot of vote by jury. Either one person is going to open up the door or not going to open up the door. So we're going to get a lot more things done in a shorter amount of time, which is nice. And the main reason why I'm doing it is because I like developing my campaign world through play, getting my character or getting my players input and their thoughts and just their actions and integrating it to what I have already. I think I love doing it that way. It's fantastic. They come up with so much great stuff. And I'm going to bring up some samples of that today. So today's session was me and Paul. We got together. It's like, all right, let's do this. Now we're a quick header. Before Paul and I got together, I had all the stuff made out for him. I was going to, I like giving people a zine beforehand. It gives them a little bit of information ahead of time so they know it. Okay. My computer decided to chew it up and vomit it all over the place like it's been doing. And I finally got rid of that computer that has been a kind of a bane of my existence for the last 3 years, maybe. Don't ask me why it took so long, just did. I got a new computer now. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a beast, but knock on wood, it's doing well, so hopefully it'll continue to do well. Paul's playing a thief named Hobbs in the City of Scorn. Love that idea because developing a thieves guild along with this, you always refer to it, but it's always sort of this amorphous thing that never really gets defined too much. Where this, I can kind of, put some edges on it and define it and make it a little bit more realistic. And just, I think this, especially the cities, the Thieves Guild can kind of help define how the cities run at the same time. Because without a Thieves Guild learning the ways of the city, the Thieves Guild can't function. Okay, so since we're keeping these sessions down to 2 hours, what's the important thing is trying to make the adventure succinct as possible. So initially, my adventure was going to be a territorial dispute between one of the other families called the Drake brothers. He is under the protection of a shadow guard, which is a prince. The princes are like the captains of the families. And there's 5 families, and there's a bit of a territorial dispute from the Drake brothers. Drake brothers are a bit psychotic, and they're always looking to test the limits. And I thought that was what this adventure was going to be at. We got a little taste of it, but it didn't get it full blown. So let me get to the points of the adventure. The first point was he got the adventure from his mentor, Sidwin. He went in there. Sidwin is this guy he's met in the past adventures. And Sidwin asked him to go find this thing called the vault. His friend, another thief, had found it named Rory. Rory's not the smartest person in the world. So Sidwin wants Paul's character, Hobbs, to go do an investigation, do some assessment, and let him know what's going on there, because he doesn't trust Rory's opinion. We called it the vault, and a vault, and he wants to make sure it's just not a door that's locked that he couldn't get through. So the next point, we have him, Paul Hobbs, going into the finding he wanted to get a special equipment person kind of thing. I'm like, cool, I hadn't thought of that before. So here I'm making somebody up on the spot so it can suit the needs, but it makes sense. Now, in my city maps, I have it broken down into different blocks, and I have some are detailed, some are not. And like I say, those ones that are not are either houses or yet to be determined. So they're either private living or, in this case, one of them has just become Geraldo, the thief supplier kind of person who has two daughters that he can't handle, which was a lot of fun to role play with that. And I did notice that I picked the name Geraldo at the same time they're investigating a vault. I don't think that was a coincidence. Afterwards, when I realized that, I thought that was kind of a little funny. Anyway, so he gets some equipment from Geraldo. The next point into that is he had to go find Rory, who was drunk in a bar. And Rory likes to talk a lot when he gets in a bar. And of course, that's exactly, he was talking about a vault that while I was in the, when he was in the bar. Then he grabbed him, took him out, and they set up the plan to meet 12:30 that night. Unfortunately, Rory went back into the bar and started drinking again. Hobbs slaps his head and groans and moans and goes, oh my God. And then he meets another one of his co-workers, which is named Casa, another person he's met in a past adventure, who is this lady who is more of a street person, where Hobbs is more of a fancy boy. And they kind of have this friendly rivalry. They go back and forth. And but she's competent. She's very, very smart. And they rely on each other a lot, even though they give each other shit all the time, which is great. She takes care of Rory, basically puts him in a mama bear hug, and gets him out of the bar. And then the next point is when they go to the sewer thing. This is an important one too. When they went to go to the grate, to go into it, to go to this vault, the grate was basically sealed shut. Someone had pounded these metal pieces in it and broke them off, so they had a real difficult time opening it up. I believe they had advantage on opening up, and they missed it. But Casa knows this area fairly well. They find a way around it, and they get down there, and they end up having to contend with a hazard down there, which was a lot of sloppy mud. But because he went to the specialist ahead of time, Hobbs was already prepped for it, so he didn't have an issue. The other two, fell down and flailed down. Casa cussed him out, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended it with them at the vault doors, which ended up being a wooden door, but they don't know exactly what it is. So very, very short, boom, 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 kind of going through, because I want to keep it streamlined as possible. A little bit of a railroad, but a loose railroad, because I figured if I could get this started, get him going down the tracks a little bit, then it's going to branch off in different directions. And one of the things in between there, what happened as he left Sidwin's place, this was just a random encounter that happened. I have a small booklet of random encounters because they are priceless. Is he found a wine crier who was trying to sell wine from another tavern that was actually in the Drake Brothers territory, but he was trying to sell it in the Shadow Guard's territory, so to draw customers away from Shadow Guard taverns to go to the Drake Brother taverns. So Sidwin, or Paul's character Hobbs, put an end to that. So there I've kind of did a little forecast of maybe what's to come with the territorial dispute. It wasn't no combat, no major issues at the time. But it's there now. Now it's kind of implanted. And like, say there was some issue with it, or if they hadn't done anything, if Paul hadn't driven the wine tester away, maybe in a couple sessions, he would be hearing about the result of that. Like, we're losing customers because that stupid wine crier is drawing them away to the other tavern and everything. Quickly, some good points and then some bad points that I won't say bad, I'll just say points that I need to improve as a GM. The good points were, so we're developing the world. One of the cool things that Paul did is he started developing a thieves' cant that we could use, and he used weather, like a phrase about the weather, which was really fun. Very simple to remember, very simple to kind of manipulate and use, and it was great. So that'll be our thing going on, like to identify another person, they'll start talking about the weather and say something about it. That'll be fun. And then he got to meet a city guard that he's kind of a young guy. He really likes sticking to the law, but he's very predictable. So Hobbs likes that, so he knows how to kind of manipulate him a little bit. And his interaction with Geraldo and the two daughters, that's going to be fun to play up on their friendship and whatnot. Also Cass is a lot of fun, but she's going to be more of a, probably like a little bit of a, smart ass partner or something along those lines. One of the very good fun things, good points, was Rory the Roach is his name. And for my NPCs, I also like to identify them maybe with a character in a TV show or in a movie. Paul just did a series about this not too long ago. And I based him off of a character in Frasier. Daphne had this brother named Simon who always was drunk and sleeping on their couch and doing stuff that they didn't like. So I kind of based Rory off of the Simon from Frasier. So if you guys know... Yeah, it was funny. I liked it anyways. It was fun role-playing him anyways. So yeah, that's where we are. And I thought we did some good work with the short time that we had and some foundation. Now, some points I need to improve on. I was very unprepared for this as much as I wanted to be. I don't do the over-prep stuff that much. I like to at least have an idea. Where this one, like I told you in the beginning of this, my adventure kind of changed at last minute. Don't know why, just did, and that's what I decided to do. So my descriptions weren't as succinct and weren't as accurate as I want them to be, and I said a lot of qualifiers. I hate doing that. Well, it kind of does this, or it's almost like this, or it's like I just want to state it as is and not use those qualifiers because that weakens the descriptions and whatnot. So I definitely have to get better at that, be more conscious of that, so I don't do that. One of the other things, I want to be able to set up things a little bit better for like the visual stuff. Because if we're going to do this online and people will watch, some people will, maybe not a lot, but they'll get a chance to see how I use my maps. Because with Scorn, I have 3 Scorn maps now. I have the Scorn map that's just the overall. There's really no descriptors on there right now. Probably start labeling things here soon so they can see it in the overall map. Then I have a map with the 5 different, there's like territories for each prince and whatnot labeled on there. And then I have a 3rd map with each section detailed because I break things down into smaller pieces. One of the things I'm going to be doing more is I'm going to finish, I don't know how many different sections. I think there's 80 some sections in this. I probably have 8 kind of finished. What I usually do, guys, when I develop a city block is I have a long random chart, and I'll determine how many businesses are going to be in the section. I determine what the businesses are, and then I kind of leave the rest blank, like what I said before. They're either considered private housing or tenements or whatever, or yet to be determined. I needed a house for Geraldo, so I just took one of the blank buildings. I labeled it. Now it's Geraldo's place and stuff. So that works. It's that'll work out great. But what I do is when I break them down into smaller pieces, then that kind of gives the characters a visual cue that the adventure may be kind of contained in this area, and that way I'm not dealing with all of Scorn. I'm just dealing with a block with maybe 3 buildings in it, which sounds a lot, but only like 10 of them are described so they can kind of interact with those because that kind of thing. But I want to develop more of those so that way kind of build out from around where he's at and kind of so if when he moves around in the future, I have those maps ready for him. So, but that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're a subscriber, please do. I appreciate that. Thanks for getting this long on for me. And that's it. I hope all you guys have a good night, good gaming, and take care of yourself and roll better than me.